Picture a guy, let's call him David, born back in '79, right? He is a wildly successful executive. I mean, he's absolutely rich on paper, but he's completely bankrupt when it comes to time. He is literally hemorrhaging emotional capital, just pouring 60-hour weeks into a sinking corporate ship out of this misplaced sense of legacy loyalty. Now, David represents a massive cohort of professionals right now who are sitting at a critical midlife pivot. So if you're anything like David and you actually want to build wealth instead of just surviving a high-paying trap, this explainer is exactly for you. Okay, let's dive right into this, because the back half of July isn't just business as usual. It is a very specific, incredibly high-stakes window for complete structural correction.
What we're looking at for the rest of July is an exact blueprint. It's split right down the middle into two distinct phases. Now, with all the market noise out there, you might be tempted to panic. Don't. This isn't a time for panic. Actually, it's an engineered inevitability, and it illustrates our exact battle plan perfectly. First up, we've got the fire, the pressure testing of our systems, and then the absolute green light for execution and capturing wealth. We're going to walk through exactly how to navigate both sides of this map so you can turn your specialized knowledge into serious automated equity.
But to pull that off, we have to recognize the fundamental shift that's happening right now. On one side, you have the old mindset, the linear labor model. This is your classic brute force execution. Trading linear hours for an unstable currency. Basically just hoping that if you grind harder, you'll somehow magically buy back your freedom. But the real target goal for that 1979 cohort, or honestly anyone looking to capitalize on this specific July window, is shifting to become a sovereign architect. That means moving to an automated, equity-based framework. You're upgrading from being a really expensive tool in someone else's company to being the architect of your very own wealth system.
So, moving right along to Phase 3, the pressure test, running from July 15th through July 22nd.
Now, during this specific timeline, the broader market is going to go through what the source data calls a quickening. Basically, a whole lot of high-velocity noise and emotional volatility. But here's the thing. We're not reacting emotionally to it. We're going to use this cosmic slowdown and the surrounding market turbulence completely to our advantage. The risk mitigation window officially opens on July 15th, but you really want to keep an eye on days 3 through 5, that's July 17th through the 19th. The gap analysis flags this as a time for Mars-Uranus alignment friction. In practical terms, expect sudden operational hiccups, maybe a key vendor stumbles, or a legacy partner suddenly looks a bit shaky structurally. Do not panic, just reframe it. This is an empowering stress test for your systems. By the time we hit July 22nd, as the sun enters Leo, you'll feel that pressure start to lift. But how do we actually handle that friction when it's right in our face?
Well, to survive this test, you've got to navigate two specific threat profiles: contractual ambiguity and supply chain lags. It is absolutely crucial to maintain total technical control right now. Vague terms in those old legacy agreements, they're harboring hidden liabilities. And operational delays are going to compound real fast if you don't preemptively plan for them. So if a negotiation stalls out this week, let it. Don't force it. Let the delay expose any hidden liabilities on the other side. Remember, your number one mandate here is defensive wealth preservation.
That brings us to Phase 4, absolute execution, happening from July 23rd straight through to the 31st.
And this is where the energy completely flips. The visibility blocks dissolve, and guys, the green light is fully active for execution. All that infrastructure hardening you just did during the pressure test, it's about to be unleashed. The testing phase is over, we are officially deploying. On July 23rd, Mercury stations direct. Then over the next 2 days, the 24th and 25th, that is your golden window to execute those delayed contracts, push your premium product tiers live, and initiate those major career transition talks. But mark July 26th on your calendar. Saturn stations retrograde. This is huge because large institutions are going to massively slow down their decision-making cycles right here. That slowdown gives agile, independent players the exact opening they need to swoop in and capture market share. Finally, wrapping it up on July 29th under the full moon in Aquarius, this is your realization point for network-based wealth. Launch the platform, close the funding round, or just take your profits.
Now, let's look at sector-specific wealth directives. What's really interesting is how this massive timeline actually applies specifically to you, based on your wealth profile.
Let's start with strategic investors. Your main goal here is protecting the base. You essentially need an institutional freeze on speculative capital. Please, do not buy into those narrative-heavy market bubbles, where you need a 20-minute pitch just to explain what the company even does. No way. Instead, you're only allocating toward high-precision companies that have absolutely immaculate balance sheets. We're talking utility-focused sectors here: data logistics, compliance software, agricultural automation, and specialized medical hardware. Right now, real-world utility is literally your only metric.
Next up, if you're a business owner or a solopreneur, your entire focus is back-end hardening. So the crucial point is that you need to completely shift away from all that public-facing bravado right now. Forget about mass customer acquisition for a minute and turn inward. Step 1, eradicate those redundant subscriptions that are quietly eating away your margins. Step 2, take manual operational bottlenecks and replace them with lightweight, automated protocols or even dedicated AI agents. And Step 3, roll out a high-ticket retainer to the top 5% of your clients and raise your floor pricing. Tighten up the delivery and raise the cost.
And finally, what about our guy, David, the corporate career exiters? If you are still bound to a W-2, July is actually giving you the perfect cosmetic cover to engineer your escape hatch. Do not just dramatically resign under emotional distress. Instead, treat your current W-2 like your primary angel investor. While they are funding your salary, use this time to quietly formalize your intellectual property. You're constructing your MVA, your minimum viable asset, which will be your independent consulting vehicle. Then, once we hit that July 23rd green light we talked about, you activate your private executive networks and transition straight into a high-value retainer framework. Basically, quietly build the parachute while you're still on the plane.
Now, a very natural question usually pops up right about here. You might be wondering, okay, if the market is going through this volatile quickening and massive institutions are hitting the pause button, isn't it incredibly risky to step out on my own right now? And hey, it's a totally fair question. The illusion of corporate safety is a really powerful psychological blind spot. The source material actually calls this subconscious risk fatigue.
But the answer to that fear is emphatically answered by this core sovereign mandate. Your highest leverage asset at age 47 is judgment, not labor. Those institutional pauses we were just talking about, that isn't a danger zone. That is your literal entry point. Large institutions are bogged down by massive overhead and sluggish decision cycles. When they pause, they leave these wide-open market gaps. As an agile, independent solution provider, you have the exact expertise they need without all their bureaucratic bloat. The real risk isn't in stepping out. The risk is staying trapped in a failing legacy model.
Which brings us to our final takeaway. You've got to stop trading hours. You are not a machine meant for brute force execution. Focus on what you own, automate what you manage, and price your wisdom at institutional rates. The rest of July is your window for structural correction. So the question is, are you going to keep bleeding your energy into a broken system, or are you ready to harden your infrastructure and turn your wealth into an engineered inevitability? Take a really hard look at your assets this week. Let's get to work.